Way back in 2003, we were in Crystal Beach at this point. We were just feeling the Lord wants us to get back to the main part of Fort Erie, and started looking at another property down the road from us, from where we are right now on Garrison Road. Just as that property was about to fall apart, the previous one we were looking at, Tina comes out of prayer one morning and says that I'm supposed to call Duncan. She doesn't really know who Duncan is, but the only Duncan that I know is a guy that I used to had business dealings with before we went into ministry. And so I called him up. We had a meeting in Niagara Falls. I didn't know why I was there, and he didn't know why I was there. We just had a little 1-hour coffee meeting just catching up. And one of the items that we talked about was the fact that we were in a couple of days going to close on this other property in Fort Erie. And so just off the cuff, he said, I've got a piece of property there, but it's probably outside of your budget. 2.2 million is how much they were asking for it. But he just mentioned it off the cuff. So from there, a couple days later, what we didn't know at the time was that the property that we were about to close on in Fort Erie was misrepresented to us in what we could do with it. So we had to end up letting that property go. And so all of a sudden now this meeting with Duncan became an important meeting to us to find out where we were going to go. So we continued on. I called him back and said, hey, this is what's happened. We're now back in the market. So we had discussions for a number of months. So skip forward a little bit to July the 1st of 2007. And I get a call from him and he said, here's the deal. We're willing to sell you the property for $1.5 million, but you have to be able to close before the end of July. What they wanted the property off their books before their year end. And so that was a tall order for us because we didn't have any money to buy this property at this time. We had $100 in our building fund. I said, well, that's fine. Let me take the deal back. And the family got together and a couple of the leaders got together at that time and decided, well, what are we going to do? Because there's as many good things about the building as there are bad things about the building. And it's expensive to run these kind of properties. And so I can take you to the light stand on the Niagara Parkway there where I went for a walk just to ask the Lord what he wanted to do. And he said to me, make your best deal, I'm with you. And that's all he said. There was no more discussion about the building after that. But I had a real peace that meant that we were to move forward with purchasing the property. So I got together with Duncan, a couple of days, whatever, we had it all ready to go. We put our offer in. But the offer that we gave them, which is really very miraculous, is $1.5 million, plus they were going to hold the mortgage for us, the whole mortgage, because we weren't going to put down any down payment. And they weren't going to charge us any interest for the 5-year mortgage that they were giving us. We were only going to make principal payments, which then would have qualified us to be able to go get another mortgage after the 5 years was up. And they took that deal. It turned out that it went for 7 years, not 5 years, which is also really cool. But we still had to close by the end of July. Now, if you know anything about closing real estate properties, we have to come up with land transfer taxes, which on a $1.5 million is a lot of money, plus legal fees, plus different things like that we needed to all have that money available on the 31st of July. Took that to the congregation at that time, and I said, well, here's the deal. This is how much, it's an amazing deal, but we need to be able to close on the property. We raised $40,147. We needed $40,000 in order to do all of the taxes and the legal fees and all that stuff. And so we just made it to that mark. So we were able to close on the property, but we still had to renovate this place. It was an old bingo hall. It was full of cigarette smoke and decorated in Barney purple and lime green and black. And we needed to be able to turn this place into a church. This is now July 31st until November the 4th, when we moved into the building, we spent $371,000 on materials in order to renovate this property. Money that we did not have on the 1st of July. So the $40,000 to close plus $371,000 was a $400,000 project over those few months. And so it was quite an amazing experience. Now, if you consider the miraculous nature of this deal, for us to be sitting warm and dry and really enjoying this property, all because of these series of miraculous moments when everything had to align itself perfectly with us as a ministry for us to be able to be in this property. And I can remember, till this day, walking into that service on November the 4th, Sunday morning, realizing what an amazing thing that God had done. That was like, wow, God, this is like I'm standing in the middle of a miracle. And I remembered back to his words. He said, Ian, make your best deal. I'm with you. My name is Ian, and I believe in miracles.